Take it. Let's start. So previously, what we have done is we done we understood what are the states and the props. So state and the props are two most important things and are the backbone of the React JS. What we can say is because everything we are going to do in React JS is using states. We are going to manipulate that particular component with the help of that state. Okay. So we understood कि भाई the in this example that we took yesterday, in this example, this component is like uncle and his mood is sad right now, and the state of this in this particular component, the state is salary here. Okay, so now he did something in his office and he changed the salary to 80,000. So now this component, the mood is happy. So how component is changed, how mood is changed when the state of that particular thing is changed, or the state of that particular component. This is what we understood. Then we understood कि भाई when we use that set in parent component, then it is known as the state. But when we pass that state to the child component, we pass that through props or the props. Okay, as simple as that. So we pass that through the, like, props are the arguments, like as we in function that we have arguments, in the same way that we props are the arguments that are being passed to the child components, and these are the immutable. Why? Because we are this is the state that was declared in the parent component, so we can only edit that state in the parent component, not in the child component. Then we understood कि भाई we took the we some uh, we introduced the class components, and we did the basic of the class components कि भैया how they look and how we can initialize state. So let's revise that also. So this is the example we took yesterday of a counter application that we will first define a counter in class. Like we understood कि भाई first we can create components in two types, functional and the class components. And first, so we are doing the class components first. We are understanding the class components first, but everyone uses functional components, and we are also going to use functional components while building websites in this course. Okay, so but understanding class component is also important. So we understood कि भैया कि this is how we can initialize a class component, a class app, which extends a component, which is the React component. So here we define a state. Here we initialize a state with the help of a constructor. So this here we define a state with the help of this dot state and the count and the default value, which is me like in simple terms, it is the initial value of the state. Now to change this state, we define some function increase, and using the set state function, which is a special function that will counter our that will manipulate our particular state. So we are increasing the count by one. Okay, this is how we uh, manipulate the state. Okay, so just wait a second, guys. हेलो. नहीं नहीं, अभी 7 बजे के बाद आइयो. 7 बजे, हाँ, मैं मिस कॉल मार दूंगा, फिर आ जाइयो. ठीक है. Okay. So, uh, so today we are going to look about the lifecycle methods. We understand the initializing the state with using the constructor. What is this lifecycle methods? Okay. So there are some lifecycle methods like the component did mount and component did update, component will unmount. Okay. There are more lifecycle methods, but these are the three most important lifecycle methods that we eventually use. Not the third one, but these two are the most important methods. What they do, they are the special kind of features that we in class components we have. Runs after the component is first rendered. Let's see what does that mean. Okay, so how we define that by using the component, and you will get the suggestions. So component did mount, and here we write the console.log component running first time. Okay, let me run this also. So we can run this by using, go into my week 6. Oh, sorry, we are in the folder only. So npm run. Okay. Okay, it will run our React project. Just click on it and it will open in your browser. Okay, this is this is the application that we built. Okay, now let's understand the lifecycle method. What are these lifecycle methods? Component did mount is one lifecycle method. That is what it says is कि भैया whenever, let me open my console also and let me refresh it again. ठीक है. So this part, this is like a special function that will run whenever your component will first render, whenever your component will first mount. What is the meaning of mount? Ki whenever this component will re-render first time means ki whenever you will go to this particular page, it will re-render, which means ki bhai, it will come to your screen. This basically means like a rendering, like a particular UI is rendering on your screens, like on your website, like on your laptop screen. Okay? So like when this particular component that we have created is rendered for the first time, this particular function will run. Okay, so component did mount will always run this, will always run when the component will first render time, when the component will first render. So like if I refresh this again, what you will see is that running first time. Okay, running first time. If I do something change in this component, if I increase the counter, which basically means that we are manipulating the state, and we learned that ki whenever we are going to manipulate our state, our component will also re-render, right? This is what we have learned ki bhaiya previous the mood was set and the initial state was the 40,000. Then we did something and we changed its state to 80,000, and now the component mood is happy. This is what I was telling you ki bhaiya, whenever we are going to manipulate our state, our component will re-render, which means like it will change, it will re-render on your screen again. Okay, so we understood this particular component did mount is a type of lifecycle method that lifecycle method in simple means कि भाई it will do something to your components. Okay, so this is one like lifecycle method that will render, that will run whenever your first component, whenever your component will render for the first time. Okay, so it will render, it will be run only that time when your component will render first time. Okay, so what if now if I try to change the state, we know if we try to change the state, our component will re-render. So will it again will it run? No, it will not run. Let's see. If I increase, as you can see, the state is changing. State is changing, which basically means कि भैया our component is also re-rendering behind the scenes. Like we are not seeing, we are not able to see here. ठीक है, but this is what we know कि a component is also re-rendering, but this function is not working, is not running. Why? Because this component did mount will always run when the component will first re-render. This is what in the definition it is saying कि runs after the component is first rendered, only when the component is first rendered. Then 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 Akshat, then show me the method that I can see कि भैया whenever this component will render, whenever we try to change the state, this component will re-render. So how to check whether this component will re-render on every state change? Let's see. So we have another lifecycle method known as the component did update, which basically says कि भैया whenever your this component is being rendered again, I will run this function. I will run this function. So console.log and running on every every change. ठीक है? As simple as that. As simple as that. Let me uh, yeah, comment it. So let me refresh this again. Let's see. Now you can see this is not running for the, as we have removed this thing, so it is not running. Okay, it has not run. The component is being rendered, okay, for the first time, but it is not running. Okay, now let's see. We know कि भाई if we change our state, so our component will re-render. Okay, now let's increase the state. Let's change the state. Now, as you can see, I am increasing the state, which means I am manipulating the state, which is manipulating the component, like which is like rendering the component again. And as we know, कि भाई on every render of the component, this function will run. So the difference between both of these function is that कि भाई this function will run only when the first time component will re-render on your screen, and this function will run, or this component did update run whenever your component will update it, or whenever your component will re-render. Okay, on every state change, this thing will run. These are known as the life cycle methods. These are known as the life cycle methods. So, like if I uncomment this again, I will increase this. So this will say they're running for the first time. But if I increase the state here, if I change the state here, it is not running. Okay, this function is not running. Okay, these are known as the life cycle methods. These are also known as the side effects. Okay, just remember the two words: life cycle methods and the side effects. Okay, as simple as that. So if you have any doubts, you can just open your mic and you can start asking. Okay, so constructor will help us to initialize the state in the class components. Component did mount will run the component after after the component will first rendered, or your like a screen when you will first see the component on your screens. Component did update runs after the component updates, example when the state change or the props change. Okay, as simple as that. So whenever the state change, we have seen that if whenever we are changing our state, so our component is being rendered, and component will unmount is like a lifecycle method that will run when your component is removed from the DOM, which basically means ki bhai, this is by one like component, and then if you're going from one component to another component, so like this particular function will run. Okay, so no, you are not going to use this function a lot of times. It is just for to it is just like a cleaner function ki bhai, whatever the things you are running here, just close them, just like stop them, and then go to the other components. But the two most important lifecycle methods are the component did mount and component did update. Okay, any confusion in this? You can just ask me if you have any confusions, or else we can move forward. Okay, okay, don't worry. ठीक है. You can watch the recording later. ठीक है. I mean, any doubts? I think Naveen is either he has having any connectivity issues, or he is not in the meeting. Okay, let's move forward. So we understood the class component. Okay, so this is what we have understood. कि भाई, these are the life cycle methods and these are the things that we do. Then, so this is the what I have already told you. They have a render method that returns the JSX to be rendered, and state is managed within the class using this dot state, and it is updated using the this dot set state. So this is the thing we have learned. कि भाई, this dot set state will update our state, and this dot state will initialize a new state in the class component. This is what I am saying in the class component. So this is the same code that I wrote here. Okay. 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 So after this is what we used to do when we used to write the codes with the help of the class components. Okay, with the help of the class components. After, hooks provide us a way to use this feature in the functional components. Now we are coming to the hooks that we were saying in the very beginning. कि भाई, hooks are the special functions in React that allow you to use state and other React features in the functional components. So we are till now we are working with the class components, but now we are working now we have come back to the functional component like the hooks. So hooks provide the way to use these features, whatever the things we have learned in the class component: initializing a state, updating the states, lifecycle methods. Now we have hooks for that in the functional components. So features in the functional components, making them more useful and easier to use. Okay, easier to use. That is why functional components are very easy, and that is why everybody is using them because of these particular features. Okay, so the first hook that we are going to learn is the use state hook. So let me create a file here only. What I will do is I will create a class component file, class comp.jsx. Change the name. Class, and what I will do here that I will just rc I'll just copy this whole thing. Okay. Okay, so let me remove. Let me let me now create again function function component JSX. Now we are going to understand. Now we are going to understand the function component. So like let's import in the app.jsx. So what we do is import function component, and how we are going to use this component in our React, like in the app.jsx, by using something like this. Okay. Okay, so now we can see in the now the function component is coming. Okay. Okay, so Naveen is also gone. Okay, so maybe his network is not working correctly. Yeah. So now we are going to understand the hooks. Hooks provide us a way to use the special whatever the things we have learned in the lifecycle methods, in the class components. In the same way, we are going to use those same things in the how we are going to use the we are going to learn ki how we are going to use all those same things in the functional components. Okay, so use state is a hook that will provide, or let's add state to your functional component. In the same way, how we used to add a state with the help of this constructor that will initialize a state in a class component, use a state hook in the functional component will help us to add a state and to manipulate this particular state. Okay, let's see how to uh, how to use them. Okay, how to use them. So how we use them is like we first import it. So this is how we use state. This is a use state hook that we write in our functional components, and let's try to use state hook. So constant count, set count, and the use state. Okay. Okay, sorry, let me write this in function component. Okay, so yeah, function component. So use state, we first import that use state into our file, and then we are going to use this particular use state. So we are going to build the same application. Set count is equal to use state and z. Okay. In just one single line, we have initialized a count here. Okay, this is the use state that will help us to initialize a count, that will help us to initialize a state. How we do that? With the help of this particular syntax. Okay, with the we first import this hook into a particular file. Then what we do is we write this, and it's like a array. Okay, it's like a array that has two variable in it, that has two elements in it, a count and a set count. But this is like a this is not a normal array. This is not a normal array. It is the array that use state returns. What it returns is that it in the first element of the array, it first initializes a state for that component, and in the second element of that array, it it gives us a function to update this state. It gives us a function to update this particular state. Okay, this is how in just one line with the help of the hooks, we are going to initialize a hook, and we are going to update the hook. So how we are going to do that, let's see. Okay, let's see. So if I write here count, what you will see here is that if I refresh this, you will see a zero is coming here. Okay, a zero is coming here. Why? Because here we are providing the initial value as we did in the class component. The initial value in the class component would give zero by using this kind of syntax. But in just one line, what we do is that we imported the use state hook, and then we are giving the zero here. We are initializing the this particular count state that we have initialized in our component, and we have given the initial value to the state as a zero, as the zero. Okay, as simple as that. As simple as that. Now let's see how we are going to manipulate or how we are going to update this state. Let's see how we are going to update this state. Okay, as simple as that. So yeah, yeah. So what I will do is I will create a button here. Okay, button here that will say increase, and I will I will add a function to this particular button. So on click, this is how we used to write on click in React, and here we will provide the function name only. So what I will do is increase is the function name. Okay, now in this I will define the function increase function increase. Okay, this is the function same, like we have defined the function here, and this is the same function increase. How we are going to update this particular state? As I told you that this is the first element of this array will initialize the state, but the second element of this array gives a function that will help us to update this particular state. So like a use state hook will always give this particular will always return this particular thing. Okay, so here we are going to update this count state with the help of the set count. So what we will do, set count and count plus 1. This is how we are going to update our count state. Okay, count variable. Okay, so uh, within just 3 lines we have initializes the state, and we have also updated the count also. Let's see whether it is working or not. Okay, let me add a break here. So let's see whether it is working or not. So if I increase this, increase 1, now it is working, right? So we are able to update this particular count. We are update to we are update to we are able to update this particular count. Okay, how we are doing this? The first element of this particular array that I use state return is this is not a normal array. This is a special function. This is like a special array that use state hook returns. Okay, the first count of this will first will increase the count, and the second is the function set count is a special function that will update the count. Okay, so this is not like a naming convention that you can write here anything. So if I do like set akshat, and if I name here also set akshat, and this will also work. Okay, this will also work, but like we should always go with the whatever the count, whatever the initial variable we have named. So we should always do like set count. Okay, but in the class component it was defined only this dot set state, and then we have to do something count, and this dot set dot count plus 1. This is how we used to update the state, but in the function component we do with the help of the use state. Understood? So this was the use state hook. Let's go. Usage is a special function in React that lets you add to your functional components. State is a way to store and manage data that can change over time in your component. Okay? This is the state we have learned about, and the usage is a special function in React that lets you add state to your functional components. We have seen by using this. Okay? How does use state work? When you use state, you tell the React that you want to change, that you want a certain piece of data to be remembered and updated. Okay, so this is how we are updating it. Use state gives you two things: the current value of the state and the function that lets you update the value. The current value of the state means this particular thing, and the function that lets you update the value is this second thing. Okay, is this second thing. Like a second parameter of this array will give you a function that will help you to update this count. This is about the use state hook that will replace the constructor, or how we used to initialize a state in the class components. ठीक है, this is the same example that I wrote here. This is the same example कि भाई we are incrementing that thing, a counter. ठीक है, so this is the thing. The second effect is the use effect thing that we are going to use. ठीक है, so use effect is a special function in React that lets you perform side effects in your functional components. Now it will replace whatever the lifecycle methods we understood in the class components, component did mount, component update. ठीक है, all these component, all these life cycle method. Now use effect hook in the functional component will replace all those things. Okay, let's see how it do. So we import use effect here, we import this. Okay, as we used to import the use state. Now what we'll do is we do something use effect, and here it takes two things: a function, okay, a function, and the second parameter is known as a dependency, Let me write here console dot log running for the first. ठीक है, as simple as that. Let's see कि what is use effect. So we know कि भैया this is something to replace the lifecycle methods in the class components, and here we are using the use effect hook that will replace all those lifecycle methods uh, that we used to write in the class components. Simple. ठीक है. Now how we are going to use that? So we first understood that there is one method that was the component did mount, runs after the component is first rendered. Okay, so in functional components, how we are going to so use effect will run this particular function. Okay, it has something known as a dependency array. Okay, it has known as something known as a dependency array, and it has one function in it. Okay, the first parameter is a function, and the second parameter is a dependency array. Okay, so whenever this dependency array, like you can write here anything. Okay, you can write here whatever the state you will have, but we will talk about it later. But if you make this dependency array empty, so whatever the function you have wrote here, it will run for the first time. It will run for the first time when your component will re-render. This is like a replace of what we have done in the component did mount, that is used to run our function for the first time. Let's refresh this. Let's save this and let's go here. Okay. Now if I refresh this, you will see that this is running for the first time. This is running for the first time. Now if I increase it, if I have increases 1 2 3 4 5 6, you will not see that this is not running. This function is not running. Why? Because empty dependency array will say by empty dependency array say कि भैया this function will run only the first time. ठीक है, only the first time. Now second thing we have learned in the class component was the कि भाई we have component update that runs on every state change. Now how we are going to do that in the function by using the use effect hook? So the second feature of this use effect is that whatever the things we will write in the dependency array, okay, so let's write the count here. So let's write the count here. Sorry, console name count. ठीक है. Now what this says is कि भैया now you have count in my dependency array. Now whenever this count state will change, I will run this function. Whenever this count state is changed, I will run this function on every count. Whenever this particular state will change, I will run this function. Let's see, let me refresh this. So this will run for the first time, so it will run. Okay, this particular thing will run, always run for the first time. But now if I increase it, if I increase the count, now you can see this particular function is running every time whenever I am manipulating the count. This is the replace of what we did is the component did what we did was component did mount in the class components. ठीक है, as simple as that. Now Akshat, what if we remove this dependency array? What will happen if we remove this dependency array? Now if you don't give a dependency array to your use effect, then this function will run on every component, whether you define any state or whether every time this component will re-render, this particular function will run. So if I refresh this, it will run for the first time, and if I increase it also, it will run for the first time. But now we are not giving a count state here. Why? Because we don't have any dependency here, which means that this function will run on every component re-render, on every component re-render. Okay, this is the difference between the when we give a empty dependency array. ठीक है, empty dependency array will run this function whenever the first time component will re-render on our screens. So if I refresh this, you will see only one time running for the first time. And if I increase this, you will not see this is not running. This function is not running. But if I give the count here, it will run whenever this particular count will change. Whenever this particular count will change. But if I remove this dependency array, then it will run on every component re-render. Whether we are not changing a state, whether we are changing a state, whether anything else is happening in the state, this particular function every time it will run. So if I increase this, or if I do something else, like we don't have anything else in this component, but if I were have to change this component by using some other functions, then this particular function will run on every render. Okay? This is the use effect hook, that is the replace method of the life cycle methods. That is the replace of the life cycle methods. As simple as that. Okay? This is how. This is about the use state hooks and the use state and the use effect hook. These are the most important two hooks that we use in our React applications. Using these two hooks, you can create any application. Okay? These are the like backbone of the React. This use state hook and the use effect hook and the use effect hook. Okay? As simple as that. So they are like the backbone, and every time you will like if you want to build an application, they will you need this both, you need this only two hooks. Okay? Now there are many more other hooks in the React that we are going to learn later, but these are the two basic hooks, okay, that were first introduced to do some life cycle do some side effects in the state things in our component. Okay? So let's see. The use effect is a special function in React that lets you perform side effects in your functional components. Side effects means like those lifecycle methods in the same. Side effects are the operation that affect something outside from the function. So what we're doing here is that these are the methods that are running outside. Like this is the count. Okay? So we are increasing it. We are manipulating within the state. But these lifecycle methods or these side effects are running outside the return. Like outside return means कि भाई they have nothing to do with these things, whatever things we have written in our like below return. ठीक है? They are saying in simple terms, they are saying this. ठीक है? Like a fetching data from the API is the most common usage of the use effect that we are going to learn when we will talk about the APIs. But use effect hook is the mostly used for the fetching data from an API, updating the DOM, setting up a timer, and all those things. Okay? Use effect runs after the component re-render. You can think of it as a way to tell React that after you have rendered this component, please do something for me. This is the simple meaning that you can get of the use effect. कि भाई after you have rendered this component, please do something for me. This is what we were doing. कि भैया whenever the first component will re-render, if the dependency is array, I will run this function. I will run this function. As simple as that. So this is the two state hooks we have done, and I think we are done here with the hooks, with the functional hooks. That replaces the lifecycle methods and how we used to define the state in the class components. Okay? Okay. So yeah, this is what we have done. Any doubts still now? Mudit, any doubt you can ask me. Okay, okay. Take care. Let's come to the next topic, which is the React Router DOM. React Router DOM is a library used for handling routing in the React applications. Okay? React Router DOM is the library that is used for handling routing in the React applications. We will see what is that. What is the meaning of that? It enables to develop a single. This is like a single topic. So we have done the hooks. We have completed the hooks. We have done the two hooks. So now the hooks topic is covered. Okay. Now we are coming on to the next topic, which is known as the React Router DOM. That will help you to handling routing in the React. What does that mean is that it enables developer to build single page applications with navigation and routing capabilities with the like. Let's see what is that. Okay. So as you know that this is like a library. This is like a library that we have to install in our laptops. Okay? Like a React that we have to install in our laptops. In the same way, React Router DOM is like a library that we have to install in our laptops. So let's install it. Let me close this. Okay, let me terminate this. So we close this also. So how we are going to do that with the help of the uh, npm install react router DOM. You can just copy this from here, copy it, just paste this here. Npm install react router DOM. So it will install a particular library known as the react router DOM. We will look at what is that particular thing. But if you come into the package.json, you will see a new dependency in your dependency thing known as the react router DOM. Known as the react router DOM that has the version of 6.23.1. Okay? This is a version which is being downloaded in your laptops of the react router DOM. Okay? Let's come to your functional components and let's see what is this. Okay. Okay. So it helps us to build a handling route in our used for handling routing in our React application. What does that mean is that this is a, let me again run this npm run this. Okay. So we have this application. Okay. What is the meaning of the routes? Let's see what is the meaning of the routes. Okay. So let me take you to the code rail website, and that from there you will get understand. You will see it. Okay. So we have one route known as the this simple, like a simple website. Okay. So like if I add a this slash, this is one route known as the home route, known as the home route. But if I go to my sign up, you will see another route, which means another route is adding to this particular home route by using the slash. So slash dot sign in, a new page is being opened in your particular scene. If I go to a sign up, okay, a new sign up route is being added to your particular home route. This was like the home route. Okay. If I go to sign in, you will see sign in coming in here, and if I go to sign up, you will see a sign up coming up here. Okay. This is like a navigation from one route to another route. This is one route. Okay, this is one home route. If I go to sign in, this is one an- another route known as a sign in route, है ना? And if I go to sign up, then this is one another route, sign up route. Okay. So on sign in, you will see this particular component. On sign up, you will see particular this component, and on the homes and the home route, on the home route, you will see this particular component. Okay. This is known as the routing. This is known as the navigating from one route to another, from sign in to sign up, from sign in to home. Okay. From home to sign in. This is how we are what we are saying is the route, that a route is being added to your particular home route. Okay. As simple as that. So this particular library will help to create this type of functionality. कि भाई we can define one route, and if I click on this and if I go to this particular route, a new component will be shown to my screen. ठीक है. If I go to a sign up route, a new component will be shown to my screen. If I go to sign in route, a new component will be shown to my screen. ठीक है. As simple as that. So this particular library will help us to create this type of functionality, will help us to define the routes in the React application. So we have installed the npm. This is how we import this particular library into our and use this particular thing into our React router DOM. Let's see how we do that. So how should I do this? We can do that. We can create a new file with the React router component.jsx. Okay. We are going to get a functional component here. Let's do one thing. Let's do it in the app.jsx only. Okay. In the app.jsx, that because app.jsx is the first folder, like a first thing that we see on our screen. So let me delete this, and we will handle the route here only. So I will removing this functional component because we are now. Okay. Let's see. So, how do we do this? We have to import all these particular things from the React router down. Copy this and paste it here. Okay, as simple as that. Okay. Now, browser router. ठीक है, we have to, like, these are the default components, these are the default functions of the components, you can say, that React router gives us to build that particular functionality. So it gives us browser router that will behave like, just look at it right now, and you will get the understanding what I'm doing. So I'm creating here the routes, and in this route I will create the route. Okay, this is one route. Then let me one and element, we can define this as, let me create some components, let me create some pages here, so that we can define it from here. Okay, let me create some pages. So in the src, let me create a new folder as the pages. Let me create a component here as the home page .jsx homepage.jsx about me dot jsx. Okay, and the contact dot jsx. Okay, rafce, save this, rafce. So we are just creating a three components here in the pages folder. Okay, let's import all these components here in the app. So we have already understood how to do that. Home page, import about me, import contact. Okay, this is how we are importing it. Let's see how we can do this. So let's add here the home page. Okay, let's add another route that says the about. Okay, and I will add a page here about the about. I will add the component of the about me, and on the contact I will add the of the contact. Okay, this is what we have done is the React, with the help of the React router DOMs, we have defined the routes. We have defined the routes कि भैया, whenever if someone open this particular route, homepage should be visible. Whenever if someone goes to this particular route, you should give that to the about me page. And whenever if someone wants to go to the contact route, you should show the contact component. Okay, as in the CodeRail website, whenever I am coming to the sign in page, the sign in component is being showed. Whenever I am coming to the sign up page, a sign up component is being showed. In the same way, whenever someone wants to come to the home page on this particular route, like this is like an empty route, it will show me a home page. Whenever someone goes to the about, it will show you the about me component. Let's see. So if I refresh this, it is showing you the home page. Why? Because abhi it is showing you this component. Why? Because it is the empty route, which means like it is the home route. As you can see, it is the home route. Okay? It is like this. It is like this. So if I refresh this, you will see the home page. But let's go to the what? About route. About route. Now you will see here the about me component. Now you will see here the about me component. Why? Because we have given the about bhaiya ki bhaiya, whatever the whenever someone will come to this particular route, show this about me component. So we are seeing the about me component. Let's go to the contact. Let's go to the contact. So now the contact particular component will be shown to your particular websites. Okay, this is what we were saying about the कि भाई we are going to handling the routing in the React application. It enabled developers to build single page applications. Now what does this saying कि भाई it will help us to develop the single page applications? It is saying, as you can see, I am going from sign in, like I am going from sign in to sign up. You are not seeing any page reloading. You are not seeing any page reloading. If I go to the home page, you will not see any page reloading. If I go to the sign in page, you will not see any page reloading. In the same way, if I go to the sign up page, you will not see any page reloading. How it is happening? It is happening because with the React router DOM. Why? Because we are just showing you the component. We are not reloading the whole thing. That is why it is saying that it will help developers to build a single page application. Single page application मतलब कि भाई any application that we are doing, building it without we are like navigating it without the need of full page reload. This is what it is saying कि भाई it will give you with navigation and routing capabilities without the need of full page reload. ठीक है, use react, ठीक है, as simple as that. This is how we are define the navigation. So we have to first install the react router DOM in our laptops. Then we have to import like all these default tags, or like you can say all these default components like the react router provides us. And in that, browser router should be one on the top. Inside it, routes should be, and then below the routes I will define my all the routes. Okay, clear the react router DOM. ठीक है, okay. So 10 minutes left. So yeah, so React router DOM is also done. This is how we are. This is how actually like how I managed to uh, build all this. Like so, I also use the React router DOM only. Okay, so I also use the React router DOM only. This is how I did. Okay, as simple as that. Like if I go to the enroll now here, if I go to the enroll now here, you will see a enroll route. Okay, and on that enroll route, enroll page is coming. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, yeah. So this is how we are going to working with the APIs. I think this is we can cover in the next lecture, because we can cover this in the lecture. But okay, let's create something. What should we create? We have 10 minutes. Let's create something. Okay, so let's create something from the very initial. So we are going to create the same application that we build. So we are going to create the same application, the OTP validation thing that we build in the JavaScript. But now let's build that thing with the help of the React JS. Okay, so you can see the difference between the JavaScript and the React JS. I will also tell you when I will be building that. So it will take the 10 minutes. Okay, let's build that. So what we will do is that, should I create a new folder? Okay, let's create a new folder here, and let's name this the OTP validation. ठीक है, as simple as that. Let me close this. I'm doing this from the very starting again. कि how you are going to build your React application from the very starting. ठीक है, let's me close this, close this. Yeah, we are in the, ठीक है. So cd OTP validation. Now we are in the OTP validation folder. ठीक है. So npm create read at the latest. This is how we used to initialize the React project by using read. It says कि भाई I don't want to give any project name, so I will use dot, and it will take whatever the I have given. ठीक है, package that now I will choose the React here. I will choose the JavaScript here, and it will now I will do the npmi. We have already done that. ठीक है. Will take some time. Now it added the node modules. I was telling you कि भाई now after installing the React, it downloads the node modules, and then just we are going to start this npm run this. ठीक है, okay. Let me clean this also a little bit. We close all this. So we are in the OTP validation and app.jsx. Just remove all this and create a fresh component. In the index.css, remove CSS also. CSS also. Okay. Now we are getting the app. So let's go into the app.js and start creating the app.validation. Okay. The same application we build in the JavaScript. So H1 will be OTP validation. Okay. And now below this, we are going to create an input box that will have the type number, and that will type the head placeholder enter OTP, and yeah, that's it. Okay. And then we have two buttons here. Okay. First button will be of the generate OTP, and second button will be verify OTP. Verify OTP. Now we are going to write a function here on click, and we are going to write a generate function, GENERATE, in order to define the function here. So fun, function generate, and in this function, what we are going to do is that we are going to generate a function here. Okay. So how do we do that? We already know the logic as simple as that. So constant value math dot random. This will generate us a four digit value, and then constant new value is the value dot to fixed, and that will take it up. That will give the, so let's check what value it will give on every. Okay, let's check. Let me open my console. Let's check. So if I click on generate OTP, it is generating me 8495. If I click it on again, it will generate me 8966. Okay, so it is generating correctly. Now, as I told you, we have to deal everything in this state. So we are going to create this state, and we are going to store this value in this state, because we can't show this value directly to the component. Like if I do something like कि भाई your, if I add a br, and if I do something like कि भाई your OTP is new value, so it will give me error. Why? It will say कि a new value is not defined. Why? Because we can't directly we can't directly add this, we can't directly manipulate this particular value in the like in the component. That is why we have to create the state for that. So how do we going to create that? So with the help of use state only. So let's name this OTP, and the set OTP, and with the help of use state, we give the initial value as 0. Okay, as simple as that. Now here what we are going to do is, we are going to set OTP as the new value. What it will do is कि we know कि भाई set OTP function will update this OTP. So whatever the function, whatever the value it will update this particular function. It will update this particular state. So now the new value, it took the new value. Okay, set OTP will update the OTP with the new value. Now the value of the OTP is, now we can write here OTP. Now we can write here as the OTP. Why? Because OTP is not defined. OTP, yeah, here. So OTP. Now you will see the OTP is 0. Okay, why? Because the initial OTP we have given here is the 0. So we can just remove here, and we can write here null also. Okay, we can write here null also. So now we have given the OTPs nothing. Okay, now we are going to generate it. So how we are going to, if I click on generate OTP, what you will see, a new OTP will come here. If I click on it again, a new OTP will come again. Why we are using state? Because by we are going to manipulate this particular OTP. That is why we are creating a state with the help of the user state, and we are updating it. And let's create a verify. Before creating the verify function, let's store this particular value to where. We have already done this, to the session storage. So set item OTP with the value of OTP, and we will store this session storage in the session storage. So if I go back to my application, here in the application, and if I click open session storage, if I generate the new OTP, you will see a new OTP is being generated in the session storage 3959. Okay, now we have to create the verify function. So on click verify verify function. So function verify, and what we will do is that we are going to first get the OTP from the session storage. So value is equal to session storage dot get item, and here I provide the name of that particular item. So the OTP, and it will give me the value of it. It will give me my value 3959. Now we are going to enter in this particular input type. So now again we are handling a state with the help of the whatever the input we will write here. We are entering a number here, right? So we have to handle that. We are going to again create a new state here. So constant input input and set input and the use state again. Okay, again use state. So now we are going to uh, the whatever the thing we will write in this input box, we are going to update this particular input with that. Okay, we are going to update this particular input with that. So I will write here on change. On change means ki bhaiya whatever the function, whatever things you will write here, it will keep track of that things. It will keep track of those things. So on change will help us to do that. Just like a on click function, when you click on this function will get run. But whatever the input, whatever the things we will write in this input type, it will keep the track of those things. So on change will do that thing. Okay. So we will do this set input, and this is e dot target dot value. Okay. This is how we are capturing the input. Whatever the input we will write here, we will updating that with the help of the set input. This means now we can use this input value to check whether we have the at the correct OTP or not. So like now, if value is triple equals to input, we can say something like alert OTP is correct. Okay. Else alert alert OTP is incorrect. Okay, as simple as that. Let's see whether it will work or not. Let me refresh this. Okay, okay. Let me generate OTP 2222. Let's write this 2222. Let me verify this. It says the OTP is correct. Okay, let me change this to something else. 2223. Let me click on it, verify again. Now the OTP is incorrect. This is how we can this is how we have built the same OTP validation with the help of in the React. Now what change you are seeing here? See, the logic to create a random OTP to compare, this will remain the same. But if you compare in the JavaScript thing, कि भाई we used to do something like the document.get elemented by ID, like all the manipulating part of the JavaScript. Now we are not doing that. Now React is doing that for us. Now we have to only care about our logical. We have to only care about the business logic. Business logic means कि भाई logic to generate a new OTP, logic to verify all those things. ठीक है? बस we have to worry about all those things only. Now we don't have to worry about कि भाई how we are going to add a or create a new element, how we are going to select the elements, which basically means how we are going to manipulate those particular things. ठीक है? This is how we have this is how React will help us to do or build applications. ठीक है? Any doubts? You can ask me. Okay. ठीक है तो let's so today's class is over, and in the next week we are going to learn some more concepts in the React. ठीक है, so you can go. I have practice. What? I like you. What you have to practice about? या ओके ओके डोंट वरी. सो लाइक यू हैव द अरे वो ग्रुप है बना हुआ है ना, उस पर जस्ट उस पर आज पूछ लेना सारे डाउट्स अपने. हाँ, प्रैक्टिस तो करनी पड़ेगी. प्रैक्टिस करके उस पर सारे डाउट्स पूछ लेना अपने, ठीक है, जो ग्रुप बना हुआ है ना, या फिर मेरे को पर्सनली मैसेज कर देना अगर कोई ऐसा कुछ हो तो. ठीक है, डाउट्स आएंगे बहुत सारे, तो वो देख लेना. ओके. ठीक है, ठीक है, so like you can leave the meeting and we will meet next week.